Here's the thing, if you can master the concepts I'm talking about in this video, it'll change your life. We're gonna be talking about quantum leaping, manifesting, and changing your reality, but in a very practical, easy to understand way. Trust me, I know all of that stuff can be a little confusing and feel a little woo-woo, but this video is going to hopefully take the confusion out of it and make it straightforward. And I promise you that if you stick around, you watch the full video, if you actually implement the things that I talk about, then you will have discovered one of the cheat codes to life. And that might sound like a big claim, but that's how important I think this video is. Hey friends, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jillz and I help women step into their power, tap into their divine feminine, and become their best self, live their best life. So if that's something you want to do, you should subscribe and stick around. And just in case you're interested, I also have my Awaken Your Feminine Energy course and my digital products like my Notion template, my workbooks and such, linked down below if you want to check them out. Okay, so this video is going to be jam-packed full of info, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Let's talk about quantum leaping and changing your life and how to actually do it. So first of all, if you don't know what quantum leaping is, it goes back to the study of quantum physics, and it's been trending for quite a while now in the manifestation spirituality community. But in practical terms, a quantum leap is basically where you move from one state to another, or one reality to another. And so as it relates to your life, a quantum leap is kind of like a quick level up in your life, or where you feel like you are moving into another or leaping into another reality. Because here's the thing, according to quantum physics, there are many different realities that exist or that can exist at the same time. And that also means that there are infinite versions of you. But all of these different realities and all of these different versions of you, all these different timelines, they exist at different frequencies. And so if you think about it, your dream self already exists. And so to quantum leap and change your life, you don't necessarily need to create her. You just need to step into her reality, her timeline, her frequency. You're just consciously deciding to meet her where she's at. So the question is how the heck do you do this, right? Because it sounds so supernatural and impossible, and it honestly just sounds a little bit weird. But it's not as difficult as it sounds, and it's not as weird as it sounds. So hear me out. Now, if you're into manifestation, you probably already know this, but the universe communicates through energy. It's not like us, how I'm communicating to you through my words right now or my body language. The universe communicates through energy. In other words, it's our vibration and our frequency that matters. This concept of frequency is incredibly important when it comes to quantum leaping, because if our desired self and our desired reality already exists, but at a different frequency, all we have to do is tap into that frequency to tap into that desire or that reality. And that is all quantum leaping is. It's leaping into another frequency so you can enter another reality. So I know this still sounds confusing. So for most of this video, I'm gonna be talking about how to actually tap into the frequency of your desired self, why this shifts your reality, and how it works. And all this frequency stuff is gonna make more sense in a minute. So if frequency is so gosh darn important for quantum leaping and manifesting your desires, then the question is what determines your frequency? And it's simple. Your thoughts and beliefs. Whatever your thoughts and beliefs are, they will shift your energy. They will shift the way that you feel, and it will shift your frequency. That shift in your internal world will shift your frequency. And this is scientifically proven. When you have different thoughts, when you have different beliefs, it makes you feel a different way. It makes you feel a different emotion. And emotions are just energy. And every single emotion has a different frequency to it. Remember, energy is the language of the universe. Different thoughts have different vibrational frequencies, and thoughts are just energy. Feelings are just energy. Everything is just energy. The way you feel, though, is energy. That is a frequency. Thoughts and beliefs determine how you feel and determine what frequency you will sit at. So if you want to step into your desired self, your desired reality, you have to tap into that frequency, which means you need to take on the thoughts and beliefs and feelings of that desired self. So that is very important, and that is part one, okay? But here's the cool part, and something that took me way too long to understand. Manifesting our dream life and creating a new reality for ourselves, we have to tap into that frequency, right? That is so important. But just tapping into that frequency alone is not going to completely change your reality. It's not going to completely shift you into another timeline. You're not going to open your eyes and you're going to be in another country, with a whole new family and everything. That's not how it works. If you want to manifest $1 billion, sure, you can tap into that frequency of billionaire, but that doesn't mean that there's just all of a sudden $1 billion in your bank account. 99% of the time, quantum leaping is also going to require us to take action. It's not just about alignment, it's also about action, and we need both of those pieces. But that action point is where we can kind of get hung up and sometimes get confused. We will overanalyze and overthink about creating a plan to get to where we want to go. But here's the thing, and what took me so long to get. When you're vibrating at a certain frequency, aka when you're thinking the right thoughts and beliefs, when your internal world is in alignment with that desired self, when you can feel her, when you can embody her, that is when you'll receive the inspiration, the intuitive nudges, the impulses to do the things you need to do to create the reality you want. So let me explain. If you want to manifest making more money in your business, so many of us will get caught up on the how. Like, how do I actually do it though? How do I make more money? How do I make more sales? How do I create another revenue stream? But once you focus on shifting your frequency to one of more abundance, more receiving, right? To one of a successful business owner, that is when the creative inspiration, the impulses, the direction you need will come to you, so that you can turn it into reality. Or if you want to manifest finding your soulmates, if you are vibrating at this frequency, the frequency of like love, partnership, having an open heart, then you might get a sudden desire, a sudden impulse out of nowhere to go try that random workout class that you've never been to. And then who's the person they, pair you up with in the workout class? Him, your soulmate. Because when you're in the frequency of your dream self, when you're in the frequency of what you want, that is when you'll receive the direction on how to turn it into reality. So those random impulses you get, those random desires, or that creative inspiration that just comes out of nowhere for this new revenue stream for your business, or that intuitive nudge that you probably shouldn't take that job offer. Being in the frequency allows you to subtly encode and pick up on this stuff and pick up on the how. This is why in manifesting, they say that you need to take inspired action. It's the action, the impulses, the urges, the nudges, the ideas, the inspiration that comes to you when and only when you are vibrating at that frequency. Nikola Tesla, who was one of the greatest inventors in history, very famous, said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And he's also said that his brain was merely only a receiver. So basically, if he wanted to receive the best creative ideas and solutions, he had to be tuned in to the right frequency to receive them. Think about it as like when you're switching through the different radio stations in the car. For you to be able to hear what's being played on 102.3, you have to first tune your radio to 102.3, or else you can't hear anything. Once you tap into the frequency of that specific radio station, then all of a sudden you can hear the songs. So being at the right energy and the right frequency is the first step towards getting to where you want to go. The feeling comes first. The internal world has to shift first before the external reality is going to start changing. So stop overly focusing on the how and how you're going to get there, and just start focusing on the feeling and the frequency. And eventually that how is going to come to you. And these different frequencies and realities are always available to you. At any time, you can decide to tune into it. You're not going to lose access to it. Think about turning on your TV and having all those channels to pick from. You're not like, oh my goodness, like, is channel 4 going to be there in the morning when I wake up? No, it's always available for you to access. Sometimes you just have to pick up the remote and change the channel. And that's how you have to think about your energy. You have to keep intentionally picking the right channel until it becomes subconscious. Your reality does not just magically change out of thin air. What happens is your internal world first jumps to a different energetic frequency, and then that shifts how you see, perceive, and observe the world. Because you feel more abundant, you see more abundance all around you. Because you feel more love, you see more acts of love in your life. Attention goes where energy flows. Your reality starts to shift simply because your perception of it changes, because you observe it differently. Then because you're at the right frequency, you're able to pick up and code and take inspired action to turn that thing that you want from feeling form to physical form, from the feeling of abundance to actual wealth, from the feeling of love to actual partnership, from the feeling of health and healing to actually improved blood work and a stronger body. So in short, if you change your thoughts and beliefs, you change your frequency. If you change your frequency, you instinctually change your actions. And if you change your actions, you change your reality. And that is how quantum leaping works. So now that you know the gist of how this all works, I'm going to dive a little bit deeper and get a little bit more clear on how to actually do this, like in more practical terms. Okay, so you first have to get clear on what you want. How can you know what energy you want to tune into if you don't actually know what you want? How can you change the radio station to the right channel or the right frequency if you don't know what channel you want to go to? And once you know what you want, I want you to kind of just sit with that and daydream about that version of yourself, the version of you that has everything that you want. But I don't just want you to think about her achievements and her success and all that. You know, that stuff is important too. But I want you to dig a little bit deeper. I want you to think about her internal world, not so much her external world, but her internal world. That version of you who has everything she wants, that's living in another timeline. Not just what does she have, but how does she feel? What does she believe? What are the stories that she tells herself? What are the thoughts that she chooses to think and that she chooses to believe? That is the energy you're going to tap into. Clarify your desire, claim your desire, but then don't get caught up in the desire. And you might be asking like, oh, how do I not get caught up in my desires because I want it so bad? You do that by focusing on the feeling and the frequency of the desired self, not the outcome of the desired reality. Stay focused on the feeling and the frequency. Now, next, to get into the frequency and to get what you want, this is key, you have to normalize it. You have to normalize your desire. You have to normalize what you want. You want that desire to feel as ordinary as possible. If you desire to only ever fly first class, then that has to feel normal to you. But if you've only ever flown economy, then it probably doesn't. So the trick is that you have to normalize it before actually having it. If you want a loving, committed relationship, but you've only ever dated angry losers, then a kind, loving, loyal man might sound nice, but not necessarily normal to you. And because it doesn't sound normal to you, your subconscious will push it away, and it will make it incredibly difficult to tap into that frequency, the frequency of love and safety. If you want to make $10,000 a month in your business, but right now you're only making $1,000 a month, you will never get to that 10K a month, or at least be able to sustain it until that $10,000 a month is able to feel normal and ordinary to you. This is why oftentimes when we get that thing that we wanted so badly, or we achieve that goal that we've been working towards for so long, oftentimes when we get there, it's actually not like that exciting. You're like, wait, my old self 2 years ago would literally be jumping up and down and screaming. But me now, I'm just like, oh, okay, cool, that happened. That's because you normalized that thing for yourself before you actually had it. And that was part of the reason why you were able to attract it in and receive it. But because it feels normal, because it feels ordinary, it also doesn't feel as exciting anymore. It kind of doesn't feel like that big of a deal. If you want a quantum leap, you have to normalize whatever you want. The reality you want and the timeline you want to shift into, it has to feel normal and ordinary to you, not to anyone else, but to you. This is one of the quickest ways to get into the right frequency and shift your life. But the question is how do you normalize something when you don't have it? There's two big ways. First, you have to use the power of your imagination and you have to visualize it. And that might sound totally silly, but here's the thing is your mind doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Your body and your subconscious mind still reacts the same. It's like when you're watching a scary movie, you still kind of like flinch at all the scary scenes and the loud noises, and your muscles are still tense and your adrenaline is still kind of pumping a bit, even though you know consciously that it's all fake and it's just a movie. but your body is still reacting. Your mind is still taking it in like it's real. And this is crazy. This is like scientifically studied. If people don't work out, but just pretend, like in their mind, they visualize, they imagine themselves working out, they actually build muscle and they actually get stronger than the group of people who don't do any of that, who don't visualize any of that. And not by like just like a tiny minuscule amount, by like a decent amount, meaning your thoughts are powerful. Visualization is powerful. And in order to normalize something and become familiar with what you want, you have to make new memories in your head of you getting what you want before you actually have it. And Joe Dispenza talks about this concept in his book of new memories, as well as Maxwell Maltz in his book Psycho-Cybernetics. I recommend them. But you have to create new memories by visualizing them over and over again. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't really know the difference between what are real memories and what are your new memories that you have been creating in your mind. You need to create that version of normal in your head. And once you do that, it becomes so much easier to tap into that frequency. Think about it. If you almost idolize your desire or the type of person you want to be, it probably doesn't feel normal to you. And if it doesn't feel normal and natural to you, you're probably not going to get it. So you rehearse it over and over and over again in your mind until it starts to feel real, until it starts to feel normal. When you're imagining your desired reality, you're not imagining it as like, oh my goodness, I just got this huge thing. Like, wow, it's such a big deal. You're imagining it as like, oh, yes, I did make $10,000 a month, or oh yes, I do have this amazing house. Like, it's just a part of my normal life. It feels normal, it feels ordinary, kind of like it's just another day. You have to use the power of visualization, your imagination, maybe a little dash of delusion to create those new memories in your head. Over time, it will start to feel more and more normal, and you will start to feel it in your body when they start to feel more normal. When you visualize yourself getting this big thing, at first you feel like all this emotion coming up in your body, and you feel a little bit of maybe anxiety or a little bit of excitement. But then eventually, when you visualize it over and over and over again, it'll start to feel calm. That's what you want. When you visualize it, you want it to feel calm and at peace. Again, it's normal, it's ordinary, just another day. Now, the second big way to normalize what you want is by changing your point of reference and changing what you observe and what you are exposed to. If you want to manifest a lot of money, but your entire social circle is broke, and all of the content creators you follow on the internet always talk about how broke they are and how they're always struggling, then broke you will always be, because broke is what feels normal to you. Broke is what you are always observing. Broke is what you're exposed to. Broke is your point of reference. But I guarantee you, if all your friends started making bank every single month and every single person you followed on the internet was financially successful, you would eventually get there too. Not because you're all of a sudden capable, but because this changed your point of reference. It changed what you viewed as normal and ordinary. It changed what you were exposed to and what you were constantly observing. And our brain does not like it when we are outside of what we see as normal. And we will always move and adjust to what is normal. If you want to be super healthy and fit and your entire social circle doesn't take care of themselves, doesn't care about what they eat, doesn't exercise, doesn't care about any of that stuff, and every single person you follow on the internet is the exact same way, and all of the shows that you watch are like the same way, people with like just really unhealthy habits, I can pretty much guarantee that you're not going to have superb health, because it's just not the norm to you. It's not ordinary to you. It's not what you are constantly being exposed to. Quantum physics says that nothing is really real until we observe it. So if you desire a certain reality, you need to observe that reality as much as you can. If you want a fancy designer handbag one day, you know, like those fancy Chanel bags or something, go walk into the fancy store, look around, ask to see one of your favorite bags, try it on your shoulder, see how it feels, see yourself having it. If you want to be healthy and fit, sign up for like a really good gym membership, not just so that you can go and exercise there, but also so you can constantly be in the presence of other people who are probably pretty healthy, pretty fit, pretty strong, who clearly care about their health. If you want to move to New York City one day, that's your dream, Follow New York City content creators. Go online and look at apartments in your favorite neighborhood in the city. Watch Gossip Girl. You know, it sounds a little silly, and it is a little silly, but what you're doing is you're constantly exposing yourself to what you want. You are observing it. And the more that you observe it, the more that you create it as reality for yourself. Because the more you observe it, the more normal it feels. And if you never observe it, then out of sight, out of mind, it will never be real for you. The next powerful way to shift your frequency and therefore shift your reality is not by focusing on what you don't want, but by making sure that you are focusing on what you do want. I want you to think of an animal right now, but don't imagine an elephant. You just probably thought of an elephant. When you think about that, what you don't want, even if you're thinking about how you don't want it anymore, what you're doing is you're unintentionally keeping it around and unintentionally focusing on it. And it's keeping you tethered to the reality you're in now. If you're always thinking, I don't want to be stressed, I don't want to be stressed, I don't want to be stressed, what you're doing is you're putting the focus on the stress. And even just saying or thinking, I don't want to be stressed, it feels stressful. It's keeping you forever tied to the stressful reality that you're trying so hard to leave behind. If your thoughts are always, I don't want to be broke, then your focus and attention is always on broke. And therefore, it is incredibly difficult to tap into the frequency and therefore create the reality of abundance, because you're keeping yourself tied to the reality of you and the version of you that is broke instead of the version of you that is vibrantly wealthy. And it's the same with anything that which you don't want. I don't want to be single. I don't want to be in pain. I don't want to have acne. I don't want to be tired. With this sort of thinking, you're unintentionally connecting to the frequency, changing the channel to that which you don't want. To quantum leap, you have to keep your attention, your thoughts, your desires on what you want to shift into versus what you want to move away from. So it goes from, I don't want to feel stressed, to I'm calm and at peace. It goes from, I don't want to be single, to I am open to love. It goes from, I don't want to be broke, to I am abundant. I am open to receiving. And money is always flowing to me. Money is always finding new ways to find me. Or even something like, I don't want to bite my nails, to my hands are so pretty and I let them be. Think about that desired reality, that desired self, that desired frequency, and how you want to feel, and mentally stay there. And this is what is energetically going to pull you into that other timeline. Now, I want to make an incredibly important point. You can only ever become that which you believe. You can only quantum jump to a self and a reality in which you truly believe deep down is possible for you. If you can't believe it, you won't become it. And that is why I am a big fan of the ladder approach. For example, if you're making $1,000 a month, but one day, eventually, you dream of making $1 million a month. I mean, that sounds amazing, but think about it. Do you actually believe that that's possible for you? That you can shift into the frequency of making $1 million a month, and then you'll just know how to do it, and you'll just be able to start making all this money? Like, do you actually think that that is possible for you? Nothing's impossible, but to me, and to most people, that's a really, really big jump, and it kind of feels impossible. And it's very difficult to tap into an energy and a frequency that we are so wildly unfamiliar with. So the trick with quantum leaping is you can think about it like a ladder. So think about your desire, and then think about what is the highest step on the ladder of that desire that you feel like you can truly believe, that you can truly get behind and feel, that you can really tune into the energy and the frequency of. What is the highest step on the ladder that you believe is possible for you based off of the reality you're in right now? So let me explain. Instead of, I want to go from my 9-to-5 job to having my own business that makes $1 million a month. Like, that's great, but that's that's a big jump, right? We can all agree that's a pretty big jump. So I want you to think about what is the highest step on the ladder that you can get behind, that you can believe, that you can embody, that you can tune into the frequency, okay? So for you, that might be, okay, I'm not making $1 million a month in my business. I can't tune into that frequency, but I can tune into the frequency of being able to make enough money in my business that I can quit my 9-to-5 job. So that is what you leap to. And then once you're steady there, you use that step of the ladder to leap into more. Instead of, I want to move from my tiny box of an apartment and live on 100 acres of land and live in this big mansion. If the highest step on the ladder of that desire that you can truly believe, truly get behind, truly tap into the energy of is, I'm going to move to a more open area with a big backyard, then that is what you focus on shifting into. And then you use that step of the ladder to leap into more. Instead of, oh, I want to heal all of my health problems and just be like so vibrantly healthy, and I want to be so strong, and I want to run a half marathon and do all this and that. If you're so unwell and so unhealthy right now, can you truly believe that for yourself? Can you truly embody that energy of vibrantly healthy? Maybe, but if not, maybe instead you can believe, I am healing every single day. Every single day I am getting healthier. Every single day I am getting stronger. Every single day I feel better and better. If that is the highest step on the ladder that you can truly believe and embody, then that is what you leap into. And then you use that step to leap into more. So once you fully shift into that next step, that next reality, then you use that to keep climbing upwards. So this is not about aiming for less. It's not about playing small. It's not about thinking that you deserve less. It's simply just using this ladder to help get you to where you want to go. And usually this approach will get you much farther in life over the long term. Again, you can only ever manifest or leap into a reality that which you believe is possible for you, which means you either have to force yourself to stretch your belief, which is possible, it can be done, but it's quite difficult, or you can climb the ladder. And there is nothing wrong with climbing the ladder. Now here's one last tip about getting into the right frequency, okay? Softness and ease will get you farther than force ever will. What I mean is that it is much easier for us to get into a certain frequency, a certain energy, a certain feeling when we're relaxed and having fun with it. When you want to channel a certain energy and shift our internal world and the way that we feel and embody our desired self, what we're kind of doing is like kind of hypnotizing ourselves a little bit in a way. And the way that hypnosis works is that we have to be relaxed enough in order to take it in and feel it. Have you ever noticed how when you try to manifest things that you like don't really care that much about, or that you don't really have like a huge attachment to the outcome, it kind of just comes in like that. Like it's just kind of easy and effortless. It's because that detachment creates a sense of ease and calm and softness in your body. Sometimes if you're trying too hard and like too aggressively almost to manifest and quantum leap, while that determination is admirable, that extreme effort and force can almost keep you stuck and be the very thing that's holding you back. To quantum jump, you need to relax. You need to have fun with it. You need to be a little bit playful with it. And that is why that concept of being delusional is so powerful, because it makes it fun. It makes it play. It almost feels a little bit like a game. There's a little bit of a mischievous spirit with it. All you need to focus on is the fun of getting into the frequency and the feeling of your desire, and then take aligned action from there. Follow your gut. Once you're in the frequency, you'll then receive the energetic direction to get you to where you want to go. Now, if you want to speed up this quantum leap in your life, this is what you need to remember. You have your desired self and your desired reality, right? And you know by now that you have to tap into the desired self, the frequency of that desired self first, the feeling, the internal world, the thoughts and beliefs of that desired self, to then create and shift into the timeline of that desired reality. However, there's this weird space right here in between being in the frequency versus actually being in the reality. Think about this awkward, uncomfortable space as like swimming across a river to get to where you want to go. If you're constantly doubting yourself, questioning yourself, or thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so silly, like what am I even doing trying to do this? This is never gonna work. I can never have what I want. What you're doing is you're adding obstacles, almost like having a rough current flow down the river as you're trying to swim across. You can probably still get across, but it's gonna make it a lot harder and it's gonna take more time. Or if you're fully tapped into the frequency of your desire, but you don't listen to the intuitive nudges that you get, or you completely ignore the impulses you feel while you're sitting in that frequency, or you're too scared to take action on the impulses you get, then again, it's making it a lot harder to get across that river. There will always be at least a little bit of this awkward in between. You can't really avoid it. But this can either be significantly shortened or widened based off of how you feel, the thoughts you choose to think and listen to, and what action you do and do not take during this period. And that is up to you. Quantum leaping is not magic. It's a simple energetic alignment process, and that is it. And we are just taking what we know from quantum physics and applying it to our life and our reality. And we know that there are infinite versions of us available to us that we can tap into. Infinite realities and timelines that we can shift into, but it all first starts with a frequency. It starts first with energetic alignment. So the question is what do you have the energetic capacity to align with? And how high will you allow yourself to go? I hope all of this made sense. I truly hope that you got value from this video. And I know this video was long, so first of all, I appreciate you staying until the very end, but also leave your favorite orange emoji in the comments below so I know. Now, if you haven't seen this video, how to actually reinvent yourself, I highly recommend you go watch it. Even if you have seen it, oh, okay, she's done. We're tapping out. Go watch this video right here. I really think you'll enjoy it because it has a lot to do with what we talked about today, changing your reality, stepping into a new you. So I'll see you over there, or I'll just see you next time. Bye.